Manastvam.
சொல்லுங்க மாமா, சொல்லுங்க.
Manastvam yomam tvam marudasi marutsarathirasi tvamapatvam bhumihi tvayi parinatayam nahi param tvameva swatmanam parinamaytum vishvavapusha chidanandakaram Shivayuvati bhavena bibrashe.
మనస్త్వం వ్యోమత్వం మరుదసి మరుత్సారథిరసి త్వమాపస్త్వం భూమిః త్వయి పరిణతాయాం నహి పరం త్వమేవ స్వాత్మానం పరిణమయితుం విశ్వవపుషా చిదానందాకారం శివయువతి భావేన బిభృషే. So you notice in this verse, elements are mentioned. Manah, tvam vyomah, tvam tvam marut asi, tvam marut sarathi asi, tvam apah, tvam bhumihi, tvayi parinatayam nahi param. So if you notice, there are 5 elements plus the 6th, which is the mind, that's indicated in the first 2 lines. Manahatvam, you are the mind. Vyoma, space. Marut, air. Marut Sarathi is fire. It's another name for fire, Agni. Because Agni is described as Agni, whose charioteer is air. Because of air, fire is able to have its flames and glow. Similar to Atharva Shesha, Tvam Bhumirapo Nilo. Correct. Tvam Bhumirapo Nilo Anilo Anila Nabaha. Correct. This is similar to that, where he is referring to all the different elements that are there. The 5 elements plus the 6th one, which is space. The 6th one, which is mind. The 5 elements of physical matter, and the 6th one, which is non-physical, mind. So manas, but it goes in the reverse order. See, look at this order. It's going from mind, manahatvam, vyomatvam, marutvam, marutsarathitvam, which is agnihi, your Agni. Your other name is Marutsarathi, which means it's like, for example, Krishna's another name is Parthasarathi, right? Because he is the Sarathi of Partha. Here it's slightly different. Here it is Agni. Agni Sarathi is Marut. So Agni is called Marut Sarathi. Okay.
That Bahurihi edukalamma Marut Sarathihi yasya saha Agnihi.
Yasya saha Marut Sarathihi yasya saha Agnihi.
Partha Sarathi vandu Tatpurusha. Parthasya Sarathi.
Parthasya, correct. And
wonderful example.
Correct. Absolutely.
Wonderful example. Dhanyawada.
Correct. So here it is a slightly different expression of the same idea. So he is the because it is air that offers its service as a Sarathi for fire to blow. If there's no air, there can't be fire. Right? It requires air, it requires oxygen for combustion. Then he is Tvam Apaha, which is your water. So you have mind, which is the non-physical. Then in the physical, you have Vyoma, which is space. You have air, then fire, then water. Tvam Apaha, Tvam Bhumihi. Tvam Apas Tvam Bhumihi. Tvayi Parinatayam, in you. There is nothing which does not exist in this manifestation, which is there, whatever you see, there is nothing that is not there in you. Okay. So there is a subtle indication of how the Shakti as the energy exists within our system. And the next sloka, the next verse will also bring that in terms of saying that you are in the Agnya Chakra. So Agnya Chakra is where the Manas is. So if you look at the way how the chakras are aligned in our body with respect to the elements, you have the Bhumi Tattva in the Muladhara, the Apas Tattva or the Jala Tattva in the Swadhisthana, the Agni Tattva in the Manipura, the Vayu Tattva, Marut, in the Hridaya, Anahata, and Vyoma Tattva, which is the Akasha Tattva in the Vishuddhi. And then you have Manas, which is in the Agnya. See, the representation of mind is in the Agnya Chakra. So the meditation here is, it's going from the top to bottom, from the mind to space, to air, to fire, to water, to earth. And there is nothing else that exists. In your experience, in our experience, is there anything else that is existing? In our experience. There may be one-eyed aquatic animals, but we don't experience that. You understand? Your experience is limited to this. So your universe, your world is this only. See, this is the game that's being played inside our head, right? The multiplicity that we see on the outside, we really assume that it's multiple in nature and there are so many different things. But in our experience, it is only this. There may be other creatures which have the ability to sense beyond. They may have greater sensory perceptions than we do. They may have certain much greater sensory perceptions than we do. But this is not for them. Scriptures are not for fishes, not for toads and turtles, right? This is for us so that we understand, because this is our world of experience. In fact, the other day, I was listening to Rupert Spira. Rupert Spira, get an opportunity, look up. He's a phenomenal thinker and a modern Vedantist in a way. He's had his own very deep inner experiences of Advaita. And his experience, and then there's a conversation that he says that we don't know what it means to be a human being. We say we are a human being. We say we are a human. But what do you know what it means to be a human? Like, for example, a table will never know what it means to be a table because there is no sense of consciousness in it. There is no Chaitanya that reflects. There is no consciousness that's reflecting. So it will not know what it means to be a table. But I know what it means to be me. But I don't know what it means to be you. I have no idea, and I can never know. In fact, Ochur Swami says, in Sanskritam, you have Uttama Purusha, you have Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, and Uttama Purusha. If you want to know a third person, if you want to come in contact with a third person, which is he, she, it, they, the third person, if you want to come in contact, the only way to come in contact with is through the second person. Correct? When you come in as long as I'm talking about you in third person, you are only illusory. You don't exist. Just follow this thought. It's a bit of a, you got to go a little contemplative here. When you are actually trying to perceive a third person, it's an image in your head, or you see that person somewhere, or you hear about that person, but he is a figment of, it's in your mind. There is no contact with the individual. The only way to contact a third person is when it comes in the second person. Tvam padam. When it comes in the Madhyama Purusha. When I am coming in contact with the third person, it immediately becomes second. Because I am now talking to you. I am in conversation with you. Now it's no longer them, they. It is you. Right? I may be saying that, oh, Sri Vidya is that, Sri Vidya is like this, all that I might be saying in third person. But my contact happens when I look at Sri Vidya, I'm talking to Sri Vidya, I'm engaging with Sri Vidya, and become second person. So then I talk to you as you. Now, in my experience, can I experience you? I am talking to you, I'm engaging with you, transacting with you, looking at your eyes, listening to what you're saying, maybe touching, feeling, listening, all of that is happening. But I cannot experience you. I only experience within myself. Whatever is the experience, it is within myself. So who am I experiencing? I'm experiencing only me. So he says the only experience you have is of the aham padam, the aham tattva. How many ever things that you see in the world, the multiplicity of things that you see in the world, you never experience anything else. You only experience yourself. We think we experience the other thing. We touch something and we say it's cold. It's because your hand is warm. Somebody whose hand is cold touches it, he may not feel it cold. He may feel it okay. If your hand is warm, you're touching it, you're feeling it cold. So your experience is not of the object in reality ever. Your experience is your own experience, that's all. It is just your experience. So he says there is nothing beyond these that you're experiencing, that the manifested world or the manifested universe that you're perceiving is nothing beyond these 5 or 6. The 5 elements in the physical realm and the 6th one, which is the mind. Now here mind also assume intellect. Mano buddhi chitta ahankara. Mano buddhi chitta ahankara. These are the 4 antahkarana. They call them as antahkarana, the inner instruments. The whole conglomerate can together be called as manaha. So you're this mind and you're all the 5 elements, which is what you experience, and there is no universe beyond this. In your experience, even if you're experiencing Bhagavan, Perumal, Narayana, Vasudeva, Krishna, Sadashiva, Parashakti, where are you experiencing? And this is so evident for me, Shiva is saying. This is so evident for me every time someone says on this item, oh, this item is not spicy, and I have had such a hard time explaining that it is for me. And people always insist that it is not spicy at all. That is true. I'd say we should be mindful when we say that I feel it spicy, rather than saying it is spicy. The way we should, the way we tune our mind is say, I find it spicy. I find it tasty. I find it pungent. I find it cold. I find it hard. I find it difficult. I find it easy. I find it beautiful. The whole, the way the mind works there is, now you're starting to turn to understand this limitation, that it is operating in the realm of my perception. You can never say that it is cold. You can never say this, it is hot. Right? Even if you extend your, sorry?
It's an irony. Most of the time, like third, when you talk of other person, it's only a perception in my mind.
Correct.
But most of the time, it's just an imagination. நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒருத்தரை பத்தி நம்ம அவர் இந்த மாதிரி அப்படின்னாக்கா அப்படின்னு நம்ம we only imagine about that person and we try to, and the irony is that we make judgments based on that.
Correct.
And இப்ப நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி next, instead of saying that is cold, it has to come from start. We do the opposite.
Correct.
இதெல்லாம் இது எந்த அது எந்த அப்படின்னு சொல்றதை தவிர எனக்கு எப்படி இருக்குன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன்.
Correct.
How strange.
It is because we have trained ourselves from childhood to see the world. This is Maya. When we say Maya, it doesn't mean that nothing exists, that everything is an illusion. It means that what you think you're perceiving is not the way things are. We never perceive the things that the way they are. It has been, correct, the word is right, it institutionalized into our psyche, into the way we think, and which is why we fall prey to this. There is a whole mode of communication called as non-violent communication, where their kids are taught how to communicate in a non-judgmental way, which means you're looking at something and you say that, yes, this is according to my perception. This is the way I perceive it. This is the way I understand it. In my opinion, in my understanding. You should, of course, you see a lot of emails people write, they write it this way. They say, in my understanding, in my humble opinion, but then they should really mean it. The important thing is to understand that, yes, truly, it is only in your perception that it's in a certain way. Right? So he is bringing that and saying that this exists, all of this manifestation is what is there, that is in this, within this. Tvameva swatmanam parinamayitum vishwavapusha. Only you yourself are manifesting as this universe. So this is the whole Shakti as this manifest form. You are, with your own assistance, with your own self, you are manifesting as this universe. Chidanandakaram Shiva Yuvati Bhavena Vibrushe. And you yourself have taken the role of Shiva's wife. Shiva Yuvati. Shiva Yuvati means wife of Shiva, or the consort of Shiva. You have taken this form of the consort of Shiva. So it's almost like actually the spider is a good example. In Mundaka Upanishad, the spider example is used to say that the spider from its mouth spits out something, some material, using which it creates this whole web. And then it itself goes and roams around in that web. And it waits for some fly to get trapped and consumes it. So where is the material to create? It is from the spider itself. Who is the creator? The spider itself. The efficient cause and the material cause, both are the spider. So this, if you look at this example, Shakti, Parashakti is using her own creative principle to create this whole world, and she herself resides in it. She herself takes this role of the consort of Shiva or the wife of Shiva and rests in this universe and waits for us to get trapped. Because this is her game, Lalita Tripura Sundari. She likes to play this game. So she's playing this game. So he says, you are all of this. Manastvam, Vyomatvam, Marudasi, Marudsarathirasi, Tvam apaha, Tvam bhumihi, Tvai parinatayam nahi param. There is nothing beyond this that I perceive. And you are all of this, O Mother. Tvam eva swatmanam, only yourself, through yourself, by yourself. You are creating this whole universe. Vishwavapusha, Chidananda Akaram. And you exist as this whole Chit Ananda, Sat Chit Ananda. From Sat comes Chit, and Chit is always Ananda. It's consciousness that is there. The nature of consciousness is always Ananda. Sat is the truth that is always conscious, and that consciousness is always blissful. But aren't we already trapped? Kalpaka's question. Yes. We are trapped. Forget about Lalita Tripura Sundari. We are trapped in our own realities. We are trapped in our own realities. My guru would say, நீ என்ன பெரிய ராவணனா உன்னை தண்டிக்கிறதுக்கு ராமர் இறங்கி வரதுக்கு. He'll say, even பண்ற தப்புல கூட நீ அந்த லெவல் தப்பு பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறியே. சில்லறத்தனமா ஏதாவது பண்ணிண்டு. Do you think you need Rama to come down to punish you? You think you are such a big sinner? This is a way of saying, a lot of times we think that, I have no way out. I'm stuck, and I've done so many wrong things. I've not done the right things. And I think God is punishing me. The people think that way, right? They think that God is punishing me for, I don't know what wrong things I did. So my guru will say, you think you're a big Ravana, is it? God has to come down to punish you. So don't glorify your whatever wrongs that you think you're doing, don't glorify that also. It's all right. It's all right. Doing whatever is necessary to be done. And there are times when we slip, we go, and then the point we think about, oh, maybe I didn't do the right things. And that is the time you start doing the right things. That is all it matters. So here he's saying that you are existing as Sat Chit Ananda, as this basis, as this existence, consciousness, bliss. And you yourself are taking this role of Shakti, of the consort of Shiva. Means as Shakti means you are the one who is this whole existence. It is not that you created everything and then you are staying back. It's not that. You have involved yourself completely. You have completely involved yourself in your own creation by means of Shakti, by means of activity, by means of energy, by means of consciousness, by means of this whole creation. You are existing in creation as the creator himself. In fact, this is one of the rupa of in Vaishnava Sampradaya. There are 5 types of avatars that that Narayana takes. Para, Vaibhava, Archa, Antaryami. Antaryami is important. Antaryami is essentially the Paramatma himself in the form of Antaryami is existing in you. So what I say, Para, Vibhava, Para is the, Para, Vyuha. Para is the unmanifest Narayana. Vyuha, there are 4 different kinds of Vyuha he has. Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva. 4 Vyuhas, Chatur Vyuha. So he comes as the 4 Vyuhas for different functions: creative, destructive, sustenance, all of those principles. Then he comes as Vibhava, they like the avatars, Rama, Krishna, Dashavataras, Narasimha, Vamana, so on and so forth. And then there is Antaryami, which is in the hearts of each one of us as the Jivatma. And the 5th one is Archa, in the form of idol in the temple. When you consecrate in the name of the Lord, there is Avirbhava. He enters into that idol or that picture. So these are the 5 forms in which he is available in the universe. Like that is what is saying. Shakti is available in this world and operating in this world. As this Antaryami also, it is she who is existing through all of this. So that is this particular verse. Manastvam vyomatvam marutsarathirasi tvamapastvam bhumihi tvai parinatayam nahi param tvameva swatmanam parinamayitum vishvapapusha chidanandakaram shiva yuvati bhavena bibhrushe. Okay, that is verse 535. Pause here and pick up verse 36. Tavagnya chakrastham tapana shashikoti dyutidharam param shambhum vande parimilita parshvam parachita yamaradhyan bhaktya ravi shashishuchi nama vishaye niraloke loke Nivasati bhaloka bhuvane. Now the focus is going to Agnya Chakra. Because now he is moving, he's saying that now move your consciousness. Now you understood your perception is all within you. All your perception is happening within you. Now bring your focus to Agnya Chakra, where the mind is. See, we don't need, whatever we need to do for the body, we need to do. We need to feed the body, we need to exercise the body, we need to take care of the body. All of that we have to do. But the more important thing is to nourish the mind, feed the mind, exercise the mind. And finally, what do we have to do with the mind? Someone wants to take a guess? What do we do finally?
Chitta ekagratam.
Chitta ekagrata. And then finally, we want to dissolve the mind. We want to do all of that. And then we want to, essentially, we want to dissolve the mind so that your mind just becomes a tool in your hands. You don't become a tool in the hands of your mind. You have the mind as a tool which you use. My hand is a tool. Imagine if my hand starts moving like this randomly without my control. It's a disease, right? It's called Parkinson's disease. Now imagine if your mind keeps moving like that. We are called lunatics.
Everyone is to a certain degree,
Yeah, absolutely right. Everyone is a lunatic to a certain extent. And why is that? Because we don't know the line between sanity and insanity. We don't know the line. See, like for example, if you go to, there's this Yogi Ram Surat Kumar who lived in Tiruvannamalai. And he used to go for his morning walks. He was a realized saint. He lived in Tiruvannamalai and used to go for his morning walks. And when he would go, he would go and randomly pick up some food from somebody's stall. You'll have people standing on the roadsides with stalls, right? He'll pick up from this thing. And some people he will hit them with his walking stick. Randomly he'll do stuff like that. And suddenly he'll tell him, my father blesses you. So he will behave like a lunatic. But then it will appear that he's a lunatic. From a contextual standpoint, from the society that we are in, he will appear that he is a lunatic. But he wasn't. He was completely established in Swatma Ramam. He was established within himself. And what he did was completely as a response to what was happening on the outside. People who from whose stalls or shops he would have picked up something and eaten or hit something, they would have had good things happen in their life. So people, what will happen is over time, he became so popular that people will come and stand there, say, Swamiji hit me. They'll wait for the stick to fall on their backs. Because they have seen other people who got hit and suddenly they became rich in say a few months' time. There are people in the story of Bible, you will see where Jesus Christ, without his knowledge, okay, without Jesus Christ's knowledge, a leper, a lady, severely suffering from leprosy or some kind of a disease. In those days, not all diseases were known and curable. This was a contagious disease, and this lady was suffering from that, and she was bleeding, and she would be an outcast. And she gets to hear about this Jesus of Nazareth who comes and heals people. And she is weeping and crying and wanting to come and meet him, but she is not able to get access to him because everybody is shunning her. She's an outcast. But she is so much wanting, and she believes, truly believes that this Jesus can cure her. And see, she somehow comes, and in the crowd, she figures out, she gets to know where Jesus is. And at that time, the Romans were very careful not to have crowds gather because it caused a lot of social unrest. So Jesus was almost kept in hiding, and he would do his teaching in small numbers so that the Roman officials wouldn't draw their attention. But yet people will flock because of his healing powers. And then this lady somehow gets into the crowd where Christ is there, and she is trying to reach, but she's not able to reach. And then somehow she grabs hold of his robe. She touches his robe, and a piece of his robe gets torn and comes off, and she holds on to that robe. And she is so satisfied that she was able to do that. She was able to touch his robe and, get a piece. So she took that as his blessing. She runs and goes into the river nearby, and she comes out. She's completely healed. Later, when she comes and then she narrates this she then somehow tries to make her way to Christ, because now she's healed. She goes and tells this. Christ himself is not able to believe. He starts having tears. What has happened? This is the presence that he carried, and his cloth, without his conscious attempt to heal the person, she got healed because of her own faith. Now, her faith, it may appear that she is a lunatic. It may appear that she was like how is this possible, right? It's an unbelievable story. He didn't heal you, but you touched his robe and you got healed. So this line, between lunacy and sanity is a very thin line. In the social context, that which may appear as lunacy for a person who's completely absorbed within doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter to him. But at the same time, you may be absolutely socially accurate, socially appropriate, but you may be hollow from the inside. There may be no devotion. You may not be able to get a tear when somebody is doing a Nama Sankirtana. When somebody is singing Rama, Krishna, Govinda, and if you don't get a tear, after a little while, Uchasthaila, when somebody is singing, it raises, you don't get even a tear, then you're hollow from the inside, right? You're hollow from the inside. But you may be very socially appropriate. So, Agnya Chakra is essentially the place where you bring yourself. Why did we speak about lunacy? We said
All mind.
correct, mind. Thank you. So mind is essentially the entity that we need to work with. So we said we need to move from feeding the mind the right things, keeping it healthy, keeping it in the right path, in the right direction, we becoming an agent who controls the mind rather than the mind controlling us, which is where we spoke about. When the mind starts doing things of its own, we enter into that state of lunacy. But we need to move towards dissolving the mind. And like Chandra Mama says, immobilizing. Immobilizing means it doesn't move on its own in whatever direction. Similar to the Yoga Arudha we saw yesterday for Bhagavad Gita. The Yoga Arudha. We climb over it. We are in control. It's not like controlling the mind. You are in control of the mind, which means you don't let it run in all directions. So then that is possible when your consciousness comes into the Agnya Chakra. Because Agnya Chakra is the place for the mind. This is an exercise we can all experiment with. We've done this also before, where we close our eyes. We can try that. We've got a couple of minutes. We can try that now. Just 1 second. Let's try this for a couple of minutes. Just close your eyes. And you want to sit straight. Close your eyes. Raise your chin a little bit. Slightly up. Just bring your attention to your breath. You don't have to do anything about breathing. Breathing happens on its own. All you do is just observe and raise your eyes. Keep your eyes closed. Raise your eyeballs to the center of the eyebrow. As much as you can, without discomforting yourself. Bring your eyes up towards the eyebrow and just stay there. Make a little bit of effort to push your eyes towards your eyebrow, the center of the two eyebrows, the Agnya Chakra. And if the mind wanders, just bring your mind to the breath. Your eyes are at the eyebrows, at the center of the eyebrows, and your attention is on your breath. Stay there for a minute. If you feel your eyes falling down, push it up. When you're feeling peaceful and calm, you can open your eyes slowly. So what happened now? You'll know, see, as an experience, all you did was, you didn't do anything fantastic. You just did a simple thing, brought your eyeballs here, and attention was on the breath. You didn't breathe. I mean, you didn't try to breathe this way or that way. Your attention was on the breath, means that breath is going and you're just observing, and your eyes were here. The moment your eyes go up to the Agnya Chakra, you will notice an immediate regulation of breath that happens. A certain regulation of breath will happen. Kalpaka, I felt sleepy. That is good, which means you were relaxing, Kalpaka. See, what happens is you were quickly moving from agitation to calmness to sleep. See, try sleeping now. It will not happen. Your mind will think 100 things. But when you did this, it went quickly into sleep, means you were in a certain state of agitation. The mind came into a certain calming state, and then it went off to, quickly it goes off to sleep because of exhaustion. See, Shiva is saying, breath shifted right to left and left to right, like balancing both sides. It happens automatically, and it calmed the mind, Mama is saying. What did we do? Did we attempt to calm the mind? No. We did a technique. The output was calming of the mind. This is the power of Agnya Chakra. Agnya Chakra is extremely powerful and it's a part of our body. It is a part of our body. And we should use this part of our body as much as we can. Wherever we are, in the midst of turmoil, you're standing somewhere, stand quietly or sit quietly, bring your attention into the Agnya Chakra. And you will immediately see there is a certain calming presence that you will experience within yourself. It doesn't have to come from outside. You don't have to have some god or deity or Shiva or Narayana come and put his hand on your head. Nothing. It is right here. Kutastha. This is called Kutastha Chakra. Kutastha Chaitanya. The conscious principle that is existing within us is right here. It is here and in the heart, Hridaya Chakra. But a lot of times it's much easier to kind of, if you're a very emotional person, you will get drawn to the heart, Anahata Chakra, to pay attention or bring your attention there. There are other times you can bring your attention to the Agnya. So he says, Tava Agnya Chakra Stham. In the Agnya Chakra, you are Stham, you are there. Tapana Shashi Koti Dyuti Dharam. Tapana Shashi, like brilliance of 1,000 moons and suns. It's bright. Now, as you do this practice, you will see different colors here. You will see different things that will happen. All of that will happen. Some would have possibly, even now, some would have seen different colors here appearing. That's much better than different thoughts appearing, right? These colors are also the representation of your thoughts. Different thoughts that are there, they are coming in the form of colors. They're not coming, they're not solidified. See, the important thing is when you're just closing your eyes and you will have thoughts. But the moment you move it to Agnya Chakra, thoughts will not come, but colors will come. Things like colors and light and all that will come. Because these are flavors of thoughts in a subtler state that will operate in that realm, in that space. It's not solidified. When you just close your eyes, the mind, it's in the solidified state. So you will get thoughts. So you're making it subtle, you're refining it, you're dissolving it. So Agnya Chakra helps with that. Tava Agnya Chakrastam Tapana Shashi Koti Dyuti Dharam Param Shambhum Vande Paramilita Parshvam Parachita. You exist as this Param Shambhum. Parimilita Parshvam. You are on all sides. You are not just on the left or the right. Yam Aradhyan Bhaktya Ravi Shashi Shuchinam Avishaye. You are not either Ravi or Shashi, which means the Surya or the Chandra. You are not just on either side, you are on all sides. Parshvam, surrounded on all sides. What is this? This presence that you're experiencing within yourself. You can name this whatever, right? But you can't deny there is some conscious presence that is within you. It is not besides you, it is you. It is not something that is, oh, there is yaro, very yaro irka pola irka, apdi illa. It is not like somebody else is there. It is you. It is just that suddenly you become aware of this thing within you. This calming presence. Then, Yam Aradhyan Bhaktya, the one bhakti, the devotee who worships this, he goes to the place where it is a space which is inaccessible to even Surya, Chandra, Tara, whatever. It's a space that is inaccessible, which means it is from this space comes everything else. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Chandra, Surya, Tara, all of that comes from where? It comes from here. Because I exist, they exist. Even Surya, Chandra, Tara, they cannot go to this place. I can go into that place. It is inaccessible to even them. And that place is Bhaloka Bhuvane. It is self-illuminating. Bhaloka. Bhaswara. Bhaskara. Bha means to be illuminated. Niraloke, loke, aloke. Niraloke, which means there is there is no material substance there. Nivasati, that is where you live. That is your place of living. Agnya Chakrastham. Nivasati hi bhaloka bhuvane. That there you exist as this divine light, as this beautiful light in the Agnya Chakra. So, in the previous verse, in 35, he talks about manastvam vyomatvam marudasi marutsarathirasi, and then he goes down bhumitvam apatvam bhumitvam. Says you are existing in all of these 6 chakras, in all of the 6. And then when you go into this Agnya Chakra, you experience Bhaloka Bhuvane is also the Sahasrara. So the opening of the consciousness completely, bhaloka, this loka that opens up, the experience of divine understanding that opens up within us is the Sahasrara chakra. If you look at in the chakras form, it is the Sahasrara, which is the 1,000-petal lotus, which means full illumination, Purnima. The complete illumination that happens here in the Sahasrara, but that happens only through the Ajna. So you have to travel all the way and you focus on the Ajna. You don't do dhyana on Sahasrara. Dhyana happens on the Ajna. That takes you to the Sahasrara. Ajna is the vehicle that takes you to the Sahasrara. To that world, the Bhuvanam. Which Bhuvanam? Bhaloka. The supremely resplendent, shining Loka, which is the Bhaloka, which is the Sahasrara. So that happens from the Ajna. Okay. So this particular verse is Tavagnya chakrastham tapana shashikoti dyutidharam param shambhum vande paramilita parshvam parachita yam aradhyan bhaktya ravi shashishuchi nama vishaye niraloke loke nivasati bhaloka bhuvane. So whenever in your sadhana you try to do any kind of meditation, bring this into your practice of trying to bring your attention on your Ajna chakra. If you want to go through the other chakras, it's fine. But importantly, Ajna chakra stham, stay there. Tishtati, tishtatu, stay there. Stay there, your eyes closed, just your attention. You're not thinking anything, you're not asking anything. You're not saying suddenly if I'm in the Ajna chakra, my Sahasrara will open and I will become like a divine being. No, you're not thinking of any of that. See, that's why I'm saying, always don't. There's a beautiful example that I always relate to, which I've heard, and I'm kind of rephrasing that. If you want a rose, you don't keep thinking that I want a rose, I want a rose, I want a rose. No, you get a rose seed or you graft a rose plant, you put it inside the soil, you put the right kind of soil, you give it the right sunlight, you put enough water, you give it the right environment. The output is rose. But the process, what you do is nothing like rose. The seed is not rose. The soil is not rose. The water is not rose. The sunlight is not rose. The output is rose. So we follow these processes within us. We bring our attention and we keep ourselves there. The outcome will be some kind of illumination, some understanding that will happen. We use that as a motivation. But in the practice, that should not come at all. Like my mother would say, you don't plant a ginger plant, you don't plant a ginger this thing, and then you keep every morning you get up and nondipata, you dig into the soil and say, has the ginger sprouted? The act of going and checking that itself will disturb the plant from growing. And then you will say, see, ginger is not growing. You have to let it grow. You have to let it germinate. Believe in the process, have faith in the process. And if you do, as part of our sadhana, we do this, then at some point, some illumination, some understanding will come. If nothing, at least you know a place to go inside yourself, right? See, whatever you become is, let the world figure out what you have become. But for you, you have a place now, a safe place within you to go. This is what you need to work towards. We all need to work towards finding that space within me where I can go peacefully without anybody bothering me and I not being bothered by anybody. Whatever is the condition, I have this beautiful place within me I can go to. So that is Ajna Chakrastham. Okay. With that, we'll close today. ॐ कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि, सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि, जगदम्बिकायै समर्पयामि, सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि। हरि ओम तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः।